Welcome back to the Home Care Experience with T&A, hosted by Amy Taylor and Troy Brooks. In today's episode, Amy and Troy tackle a topic that often slips under the radar, but is absolutely critical for every home care and hospice provider, the Business Associate Agreement. From HIPAA requirements to cybersecurity risks, they break down why these agreements are more than just paperwork. They're your safeguard against liability, breaches, and compliance headaches. With real-world stories, humor, and actionable advice, this episode will help you protect your agency and your clients' data. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive into this important conversation on the home care experience with T&A.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Home Care Experience with T&A. I'm Amy Taylor and Troy Brooks, and we want to talk about something that I feel like has fallen off the radar and people have forgotten about, but it's a very important requirement, and it is called a Business Associate Agreement. BBA or BAA? BAA. It has to do with protected HIPAA information and the security of that and who's looking at it. And so tell us more, because I will say, as somebody that should have one from all of my clients, I don't.
So here's the big thing that everybody needs to remember is HIPAA requires you to have one on file. You have to have it. You don't have, it's not theoretical or like, maybe we have it. No, you have to have a file in which you have all your BAA, or your business associate agreements, and with anybody who would have access to your protected health, any protected health information that you have. Now, on the federal level, HIPAA, covered entities, the people who have to have the BAA, the business associate agreement with this vendor, with this CPA, with this lawyer, with whomever, that's defined specifically. And so it's pretty clear. I mean, if you're a home health agency, you're a covered entity. If you are hospice, you are a covered entity. There's just
any healthcare provider.
I remember one lady one time says, I think she's a psychologist. I don't think I'm a covered entity. I'm like, why? I mean, you got mental health insurance, you got mental health information on people, which is a whole nother ball. It's an added ball of wax. And at the time, the way it was, she never did anything electronically. Oh, it was all paper.
But she's still an entity.
I know. Well, that's her problem now is in Texas, that is extremely broadly defined. So Texas law kicks in, even if federal law doesn't.
Okay.
So, and it basically means anybody who's got protected health information in their hands, they have an obligation to make sure it's safeguarded and confidential. So, but that's the part that you were talking about falling off the radar. That's sort of what a lot of providers have forgotten. They have to have one on file. And are you ever going to look at it again? Maybe, maybe not. But the time you need to look at it, it needs to be there. And so that is not something that is surveyed for because it's not a Medicare requirement. It's HIPAA. So it's a different law. So when surveyors come out, they're not looking for your BAAs.
Gotcha.
When it's not a licensure requirement. And so it's something that can easily fall through the cracks. I mean, my clients pay very close attention. Their whole structure is revolving around Medicare and licensure requirements or just licensure requirements. So they're very keen on, being compliant with that. This is something that isn't checked on. And so it's something that I find a lot of folks, they just don't have.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about it. And the reason I say we should have one
it's just so simple. That's what kills me. Keep going.
is we have access to the EMR system for all of our clients. Therefore, we have access to HIPAA information. And so we should be required to sign a BAA for each client. And I can't tell you the last time I signed one. Well, I know it was for Miss Shirley.
She's dead.
She's been dead for a while now.
And you started working for her a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
So
I miss that woman.
I do too.
She was special.
I do too. She was my black mama. Merlita was my Filipino mama.
Merlita said she bought me this shirt.
Oh.
And so she told me she adopted me. And she'd call up, because when she'd get in trouble, which was on a regular basis.
Yes.
Son, his mom. So she was an awesome woman too.
Yeah.
But yes, those are, a lot of dead people. But it's just such a simple fix.
And that is one, because we just came off a recording about buying and selling, and those agreements are very, very complicated, very specific per deal. A BAA is canned. It's standard. It's canned.
Pretty much. You're talking about a form. Everybody loves a form. This is a form.
Yeah, it's a form. You just change the names and the dates, and you get everybody to sign one. So you need to think about what all vendors, what an agency need to think about.
Whoever has that. I mean, the janitor, probably not. Your housekeeping people, I don't know, unless they're going through and you don't shred anything.
But I'm thinking therapy companies.
Yes.
Outsourced therapy companies, accounting, if they've got an outsourced billing company, possibly a payroll company. Depending on
what it is. That's a really good question, because it depends on it depends on how it's handled. I had a really interesting, Marie Berliner, one of my favorite other lawyers. We were talking about it one time, and there's a good question about, if someone is on hospice and you disclose that that's a patient, have you breached HIPAA? Because we don't know, you haven't disclosed the diagnosis, but the patient has a terminal prognosis. So, or prognosis is 6 months or less. So I don't know. It's like one of those lawyer questions that we'll sit around and talk about for hours.
Y'all are boring.
Marie and I aren't. Because it gets sort of, I wouldn't say spicy or whatever. I mean, she's got a sense of humor.
Okay. Then this plays into security. And if there were ever a security breach.
Yes. Oh, so here's the thing. You're sitting around, you're, ABC Home Health and Hospice and Palliative Care. And you get a nut call like, hey, we're your billing company. And by the way, somebody just came in here and they took our server and left. Can you send your billing again so we can reprocess it? So they hopefully have a business associate agreement in place, and that will tell you what their obligations are and your obligations at that point.
Okay.
And so,
obligations
to do all sorts of things, from reporting
for the security breach.
Yes.
Okay. Because somebody took the server. I like to back it down to real basic, simple terms. So somebody done took the server. That's a security breach.
Yes. Well, they got you shit, They got you. I mean,
and the billing company
that's more than just like a breach. That's like I don't know what you call that. Something that's beyond a breach.
That's a theft, security theft.
It is. Yeah, it's there's no doubt they got you, because even if it's encrypted, they can still get at it.
Yeah, they totally can. So the business associates agreement doesn't really protect you, but it can't. Doesn't it protect you from being sued, though?
There are different things it does.
Okay.
I haven't even had to look at it for that purpose.
Okay.
The big thing is, this is what I say about this: those contracts, which, as you said, they're very standard. You can find them pretty much anywhere, and there's going to be little variation between the two, between one for the other. They have to meet certain requirements, which I'm not sure if the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Civil Rights doesn't have like a sample. But I say it's like good fences make good neighbors. Okay, if you got a neighbor, I was just thinking about one of my coworkers, Candace Cenax Chauvin. She's from the Homa Cenax. Anyway.
She's from the homeless?
Homa, Louisiana, south of New Orleans. The Cenax from Homa.
It really sounded like you said from the homeless shelter. No. So I'm trying to clarify for people.
So anyway, we were joking because she had a situation recently where she knew somebody who their neighbor put up a fence to unsee things, And so, Candace is always really good for stories. Well, a lot of people I work with in New Orleans are good for stories, but it's like that. I mean, if you have a good fence, you're going to get along with your neighbors better. Everybody knows the boundaries. Yeah, that's what a good agreement is. Everybody knows their role. Everybody knows their boundaries. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. And so, if you have a business associate agreement in place and something bad happens, you're not left wondering, what do I do? You have a document that tells you what to do.
And so me as the vendor, correct me if I'm wrong, but it pretty much says, so I'm certifying that, yes, I have access to your protected data, and I'm going to make sure I'm safeguarding it.
Yes.
So that, okay, yes, it's your data. You're the agency. It's your data. It is your job to safeguard it, but using me as a third-party vendor, I then also have that responsibility that I have to safeguard it. So that's really what it's for.
Yeah.
And then should there be some sort of breach, it tells what each party has to do.
Exactly. I mean, that's the biggest piece that's what I'm saying. You're not left to wonder who's responsible for what. Now, there might be some disagreements over interpretation, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But we are entering into a time that this is a very good time for the breach issue that we're talking about with cybersecurity. This is a very good time to look to make sure you have business associate agreements in place with anyone who might fit that category. If you're in doubt, have them sign one. I mean,
and if they're even old, I would talk about updating them.
If they're especially, they haven't been. There's not a whole lot of change. It doesn't change like every few years. It changed whenever HITECH, HITECH came into play. I can't remember, maybe 2010-ish. Between 2010 and 2015, well before 2015, I think. It should reference HITECH. You'll see some older ones that don't.
What's HITECH?
I don't really know. It's just some technology thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I can barely turn on my computer.
Because I'm sure those older agreements, like they don't even mention AI. I don't know if AI needs to be in there. But I mean, technology changes very fast. And then I also think too, what about now that so many people have had workers go remote? And things are being accessed from different access points around the country, around the world, offshore. Like, I bet there's updated language. I think it would be a great exercise to go through and update those for all your vendors.
There would be. I'm a member of the American Health Law Association, and they do put out forms. I have not looked at a set of forms that include a HIPAA business associate agreement. I have not looked at and they do have some variations in there. You can tweak it to do certain things to apply to certain circumstances. I haven't looked at the most recent set of forms to see what might be included. And those forms are basically just lawyers who did something that donate their form.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not like it's perfect, not going to necessarily fit your situation, but it can give you ideas.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of liken it to like we update our engagement letters all the time because the AICPA is always coming out with something new that we're required to include. Yeah. And it gets old and I get tired of doing it. But so I guess they haven't changed a lot, but I just think that'd be a good exercise unless that's something that you already keep up with on a regular basis.
Well, again, it's just so simple. It's just it would be a shame to wind up having to fork over a huge amount of money to fix a problem because you didn't have it that was caused by the fact, or it is aggravated by the fact that you didn't have it.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it's just so simple to have.
What happens if, and maybe we don't know offhand without looking into details, but what happens if you're the agency, I'm the vendor, I have a breach, and your data is compromised because of my breach, then you're protected and you can hold me liable for that, correct?
That's what the agreement is for. It also sets out, like, you're as a business associate, how are you going to maintain that data? There's a lot of detail in there. Yeah. I mean, I'll strongly encourage you to have one because it's required. It's a legal requirement. But I really don't know how many people read them.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But the biggest thing is we know it has to be there. But it's like any other contract. I mean, you do need to read it. You need to know what you're signing. Don't just willy-nilly sign it. But yeah, that's why I keep saying it sets out boundaries and establishes this. If this happens, covered entities obligated to do this, and the business associates obligated to do whatever else. And again, it goes back to the good fences make good neighbors. Everybody knows a role,
Yeah.
So it's it just, let me see. So I wrote an article for the Texas Association for Home Care and Hospice Perspective, late 2023, talking about cybersecurity issues and how they were becoming more and more of an issue for healthcare providers. Not long after that, we had change. What is it? Am I misremembering the name? The big breach, was it? I want to say change.org, but that's not, that's not change.org, but it's
HHA Exchange. No.
Those are those people, the EVV people.
Yeah.
No, there was this big data breach I think they were partly owned by CBS. They were like a hub for all sorts of payment processing.
Okay.
And it's just created a big ruckus out throughout the country.
I remember it.
That happened right after. I can't believe we're doing the podcast and we can't remember something like that. It's so funny. We don't fly by the seat of our pants. But, so it happened right after I wrote that article. I've lost count of the number of published breaches I've heard about. And I can probably, if I go back and look, I can count the number of times clients have called me about breaches. And it has gone up from one every 2 years to probably 5 or 6 in 2024.
Oh yeah. It's rampant.
And it's, now one of the things that, because the firm I work at, they do a lot of insurance defense. And so I had him, my neighbor, like literally my neighbor, we both work at the same place, walk to work together. Oh, we don't walk to work together. We both walk to work. Anyway, she does coverage work. And so I had her look at an agreement and she's done coverage work for years.
Insurance coverage work.
So basically what she does is she looks at a policy and gives you an opinion as to what's covered and what's not.
Okay.
And most of the time when they're doing that, it has to do with usually with excess coverage, it gets all complicated and she starts talking, using words I don't understand. And I just nod.
Mm-hmm.
You smile and you nod. And then, so I had her look at an agreement lately for a client who had a breach, and it was she said that it was extremely complicated trying to determine what was covered, what was not. I think a lot of that every policy is different as to what they cover. That's why you need to read your policy. So as a business associate, you need to read your policy about for any cybersecurity coverage you have. And as a covered entity, you need to read yours. But I really think the reason it was so convoluted, she said there were definitions, like gazillion definitions, and which is, you always have a lot of definitions, but she says this was a huge amount, and they would change depending on circumstances. And so it's extremely, you're taking insurance coverage determinations are already complicated. You're now looking at one that is has more moving parts than the way she described it. It's more complicated than what you and I deal with on a daily basis.
So then I'm going to make a point. Me reading my cybersecurity coverage is worthless because I don't understand any of it. And so you have to have a good agent. That's a whole nother topic. A good insurance agent that can break that down for you and really translate it.
And they may or may not know.
Mm-hmm.
Because now cybersecurity, this is new to them.
Yep.
Now,
especially if you're using your regular insurance agent or broker.
Yes. And so the reason I bring it up is just to show that this is a new area. The coverage is not as clear as other types of liability insurance. And so it's important to know what's in there. But I throw that in there because I went from every other year, I get a call about a stolen laptop, some nurse who left files at her boyfriend's house, ex-boyfriend's house, stuff. Every other year. Now to get 5 or 6 in 1 year, that's a significant. That's more than what? How many percentage of a jump that is?
I don't know. That's too much math for me.
What do you do for a living?
I know. I count. But another point on that, you might be surprised. I have no idea, but I'm just guessing. if you don't have BAA agreements, it might null and void your cybersecurity policy.
That's a very good. Well, you know what? All right, I'm a covered entity, and I ain't got a BAA with you. You get breached, I'm on the hook.
Yeah,
you might be right. I mean, you very well might be right. I mean, the policy. Because. Like the licensure rules, and I said my clients are very keen on being compliant with those.
Yeah.
They model their business to be compliant with those. One of the things that we're forgetting is that, we know about HIPAA. We know we have to have an agreement in place. Your insurance it has some demands too.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you're meeting those.
Yep.
I've not heard of anybody being denied coverage because of failure to do certain things. But I mean, they can.
Well, let me talk on that.
Okay. Yeah.
So in our last episode or last recorded that we just did, we talked about mergers and acquisitions, and we said going through the due diligence process is a great way to learn what you need to fix in your agency. Mm-hmm. Go through a cybersecurity application. It asks all these questions. Yes, and I'm like, do we do this? And I mark yes, because I'm like, well, if we don't, we will. But we were in a situation, cybersecurity was going to drop us because they didn't like that we didn't have a VPN. We had a remote desktop connection. Mm-hmm. IT was saying it's more secure than a VPN. Insurance is saying, we don't care what your IT says. Like I had them talking to each other. Yeah. We had to go to a VPN or they were going to drop us. So there are reasons that your cybersecurity may not cover you.
Well, there's that. There also, just as a little perk, I mean, like with some insurances, if you do certain things, like with certain malpractice insurances, if you do certain things, you get it, your rate goes down.
Yeah, well, discounts.
I mean, not a whole bunch.
But little discounts and stuff. Like,
for instance, with us, I mean, I remember a long time ago, if we had a dual calendaring system where we had deadlines on two different calendars, they liked that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's just, we're just not used to thinking about it because it's new.
Yeah, the cyber part.
Yeah, I mean, it's and
it's not going to slow down. It's not going anywhere. We already recorded a whole podcast on it. We did TAC did a whole one-day webinar.
I'm on the education committee for TAC, and my understanding is that almost every education session we have now will have a cybersecurity.
That's good. It's rampant. It's financial services. It's healthcare services.
I mean, we could bring Kim on here and she could start talking about insurance coverage, but she starts using these big words, and I stop listening because she just,
I'm out.
She's really smart.
Well, that's fine. Smart's good.
She's also a good neighbor.
I'm anxious to meet her. Yeah. I'll get over there. So, speaking of that, Troy has to get back to New Orleans and catch a flight. So we made this one a short one, but I think we covered what we wanted to. Yeah. Mostly just wanted to get that BAA agreement.
It's so simple. It's
I forgot about it for years because it's been so long. And then I don't know how it even came up.
The thing is, you forgetting about it is one thing. A covered entity forgetting about it, they're on the hook.
Yeah. Yeah, so I need to reach out to my clients and say, hey, you guys should all have one of these.
Well, they're all watching this.
They should all be watching this. Yeah.
I'm going to do quizzes. I'm going to start giving mine pop quizzes.
Okay.
Based on what we talk about.
AI will write a pop quiz for you. Yeah. Your eyes got real big. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Home Care Experience with TNA. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and found it insightful. You can find more episodes of the Home Care Experience wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We'd love it if you could share this podcast with your network and/or leave us a review. It really helps us reach more people who are passionate about home care and hospice. Visit thehomecareexperience.com for links and resources in the show notes. Until next time, take care and keep making a difference in the lives of those you serve.